Hi everybody, it's Shmaine from the design team, and today I'm going to show you how to make these really cool embellishments with your stamps and shrink film. The shrink film that we are going to be using is by Graphics, and I like to use its inkjet shrink film, but you can also use it for regular stamping. And all you need to do is take your stamped image, which today we are using the butterfly from Donna Downey's Embrace You line by Unity. And so you're just going to take your piece of shrink film that you've cut out and stamp your image on the shrink film. And once you stamp it on there with StazOn ink, which is what I used here, you're going to cut around your image to cut away your excess shrink film, and then you will have something that looks just like this. And once you do that, you can take a pen. I took a Copic and colored it in where the stamp wasn't, and that way I added a little bit of color to my butterfly. And I like to take my paper piercer, and what I do is just kind of go around the stamp area of the image and poke a couple of holes so that when the shrink film is shrinking from the heat tool, it doesn't curl up as much. It still will curl, but this seems to help it so that it doesn't do quite as much as it would if you didn't poke the holes. So you can't really see where the holes are poked because the image is stamped in black. But now you're ready to take your heat tool, and I actually like to use my spatula from my Cricut, or you can use the one from your Slice if you have one. Just something that you can kind of hold the image with as you're heating it, because it is going to move around and you don't want to slide off your paper. So just remember, the tip of the spatula does get hot from the heat tool. You don't want to burn your fingers. I have done that, so it doesn't feel very good. So let's heat this up and see what happens. So you just place your heat directly over the cutout shrink film stamp that you did, and you'll see that it's going to start to curl up. And sometimes I just like kind of put the spatula in there so I can keep it from completely curling up and control it a little bit better. And now it's starting to take a smaller shape of the larger stamped image. So I can just take the spatula and put it over so that I can pat it down a little bit so that it's going to still hold that shape of the butterfly. And you'll notice once it's shrunk down to the size that it's going to shrink down to, that it's not going to shrink anymore, and you can just take your spatula and kind of start pressing on that area so that the corners of the butterfly don't curl. And that's pretty much about it. It goes down to about that size. So just to give you an idea again, the stamped image started at this size and it shrunk down to this size. So then you could take that piece and put a glue dot on the back and make a cute little tag. And I just stamped a Unity birthday wishes sentiment on the bottom of this tag, added a little bow to the top, and finished it off with a little bit of bling. And that's all there is to it. You can do this with pretty much any large stamped scrapbooking image. Your smaller Unity images are going to be harder to work with because they're going to shrink down to really small, but the nice large images that Unity has for scrapbooking are going to be perfect for using the shrink film with. Once again, if you're interested in that shrink film is by Graphics, and you can go to their website, graphics.com, to get more information. And of course, all of Unity's scrapbooking line stamps by Donna Downey and Melody Ross and other artists are all available for you to take a look at on the Unity site. So thanks for stopping by today and checking out my video. I hope you'll give this technique a try.